Hey friends, welcome to another chapter summary of this brilliant book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. We're on chapter 10 called Stealing Freedom from Your Soul. And I'm going to talk really fast because there's so much good stuff in this chapter and I like to do these summaries in 5 minutes or less, but I will put the key points in the description box below. So the first thing he says is the prerequisite to true freedom is to decide that you do not want to suffer anymore. You must decide that you want to enjoy your life and there is no reason for stress, inner pain, or fear. He then talks about how we've tasked the mind with an impossible task. So somewhere along the line we got the idea that our mind is responsible for solving all of the problems of our inner disturbance. So the mind is constantly working. It creates this neuroses that is so insidious and prevalent that it just goes on in the background without us even knowing it. So he refers to the problem of the day, saying that we always have like the next thing the mind wants to solve and the next thing we think we need to get in order to be happy. And then what happens when we actually get that, we're not happy because it's not actually what we're needing. So the mind is like playing whack-a-mole with, different perceived problems. He then talks about how external changes are not going to solve your problem because they don't address the root of your problem. Like I was just saying, the root of the problem is that you don't feel whole and complete with yourself. This is a great part. He says, imagine what fun life would be if you didn't have those neurotic personal thoughts going on within you. You could enjoy things and you could actually get to know people instead of needing them. You could just live and experience your life instead of trying to use life to fix what's wrong inside of you. You are capable of achieving that state. It's never too late. I thought that was so hopeful and amazing. He then goes on to talk a little bit more about how our addiction to the rampant ramblings of the mind it's like an addiction, and how the only way to solve this addiction is to stop. And we don't want to demonize the mind here. He points out that your mind is not the guilty party. In fact, your mind is innocent. The mind is simply a computer tool and it can be used for great things, but it's just that we've tasked it to solve all of these problems, which it is incapable of doing. So don't fight with the mind. He points out that we just need to gently disengage. Do not fight it. Do not ever fight your mind. That would create more tension. So he says, simply don't listen. So understand or notice that the mind is trying to get you to pay attention to a certain perceived problem and how to avoid it or how to take care of it or how to change and fix and manage things in your life. But the key is to be quiet, he says. It's not that your mind has to be quiet, you be quiet. So this is a theme throughout the book. We create this separation of our true self and our mind. So it's not that the mind has to be quiet or we have to fight the mind. We simply have to disengage and move behind it and remain the watcher. He says, just relax. He gives a couple of more examples of unplugging, how we unplug from the disturbed mind. Relax your shoulders, relax your heart, and fall back behind it. Do not touch it, do not get involved in it, and do not try to stop it. Simply be aware that you are seeing it. That's how you get out. You just let go. So again, instead of trying to solve any problems, just let go of them and be the watcher. Oh man, this is so cool. I find this so funny too. Every time you get into your car, here he's talking about setting up simple practices throughout your day to remind yourself to stay conscious and aware. Every time you get into your car, as you settle into the seat, just stop. Take a moment to remember that you're spinning on a planet in the middle of empty space. Then remind yourself that you're not going to get involved in your own melodrama. I find that delightful. Set up trigger points in everyday life that help you remember who you are and what's going on inside. So, maybe this is your meditation practice, or maybe you set a timer on your phone, just some of my ideas, just ways to remind yourself to come back to the seat of the self and come back to your center of awareness. And then, so create these things, getting in your car is that example that he uses. Create habits in your life that remind you that you are the conscious awareness and not the neurotic mind. And then use triggers to help you grow. When you get triggered, use those things to help you grow. This path of letting go allows you to free your energy so that you can free yourself. This freedom is so great that it has been given a special name, liberation. And that's what's promised when we start practicing these things. I hope this helps.